that rang true for me when I first heard it was, we spend the first 21 years of our lives stuffing down feelings we can't handle, and the rest of our lives dealing with those emotions when they come back up to haunt us. Unfortunately, these bottled up emotions are stored in our bodies, in our cells, causing so many of our maladies. We now know that physical disease and mental conditions all have an emotional component at their core. From a very early age, we get the message loud and clear that we should suppress, ignore, or distract ourselves from our emotions. No one has to even tell us this. It's modeled for us everywhere that we are not to show anger, sadness, or upset. We should put on a happy face, and if we don't, we're wrong, or bad, or weak. We think if we were better, stronger people, we would not even have those negative emotions. Not expressing our upset becomes an instinct, and this unexamined habit can continue for a lifetime. But people who don't express their true feelings seem a little shallow, robotic, and dry, don't they? Not fully human at all. At the other extreme, those who wallow in their pain feed themselves a never-ending supply of negativity, and that toxicity spills out into those around them and into the world's collective energy. Sheesh! There has to be a happy medium between pushing away emotion and bathing in negative feelings. How do we properly process these emotions that, by the way, are totally natural for us to have? No blame or wrongdoing is ever warranted. It's just that emotions that have been pushed down are like trying to keep a beach ball submerged. They're going to pop up when triggered by some old unknown wound. For our own inner peace, we must release our stuck energy and not collect any new emotional baggage. As a matter of fact, our bodies know exactly how to release these emotions when they erupt. Rather than pushing those emotions away, we need to do just the opposite. Welcome them in. It seems counterintuitive, I know, but it's brilliant how it works. We can feel our body relax as the emotion loses steam as it runs its course. It may reoccur, and it take a month, a year, but it does release little by little. Notice it, focus on it, feel it. Feel it in your body. No need to analyze it, where it came from, why it's come up, what's going to happen. In fact, our intellectualizing is a bad habit that redirects our mind elsewhere and prevents us from feeling the emotion. If you grew up in an intellectually oriented household like I did, you'll know what I mean. Rather than show emotion, we got busy. We directed our attention elsewhere. We avoided the discomfort, if at all possible, and certainly in public. I was in 8th grade when my dad's father died. My dad was teaching me guitar along with Laura Weber on PBS at the time. When he returned from his dad's funeral, I asked if he was going to watch this week's episode with me, and he declined. That's all the impact I ever saw on him of his beloved father's passing. In fact, it wasn't until decades later that I even knew how much my dad loved and treasured his father, and what an extraordinary man he was. As I was writing this, and right now as I'm telling it, I experienced what my sister so aptly calls a grief bomb, a sudden upwelling of grief, the tears choking up in my throat. But I know to let it run its course. The body settles and calms afterward as a result. Great! Some of that trapped emotion I've been harboring for decades is being released. Welcome and encourage any tears or sobbing when they bless you by showing up. A note about anger, because the body is flooded with stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol when anger arises. Because of that, some physical action is needed to release that stress. I remember about 30 years ago, I was testing software, and the engineers had just finished their part of the project. They were laughing and carousing in the next room while I was frantically trying to complete the testing that had to happen before release. I was furious with them for goofing off when I was so stressed. They could easily have helped me and we could have had it done really quickly. Never mind that I never asked them and I expected them to read my mind, but that's another episode. I had it. I stormed out of the office and hit the nearby hiking trails until I'd cooled off. Without even knowing any of these spiritual development techniques, my body knew that it needed to have some action to release that energy in order to heal. But if your fear-based emotion is sadness or despair or hopelessness, just allow it to come up and be there. Your cells open and bottled up emotion can start flowing out. Energy starts moving through you. Release those fearful emotions. Feel to heal and to shine that divine.